Hi, guys.
So welcome back to How to Feed a Loon. I'm Chris.
And I'm Wesley.
My Bayou Loon.
I like that. Yes, the Bayou Loon.
Down by the bayou.
Right.
Here we
By
go.
the bayou.
Oh, we're having so much
Yeah.
fun because
Guess what?
it's almost okay. When we're filming this, it's pandemic
so-
world.
yes.
So still, and so it's about to be Mardi Gras.
It's
down,
about 2 days away from Fat Tuesday.
That's right,
Yes.
and it's down in the Big Easy. So
Yes.
you know everyone now is gonna have to Mardi Gras it up at home in the
Yes.
safety of their own lovely family
You know what?
members.
If you're serving what we're serving, I would stay there.
That's right. It's so much fun. So let's tell them we're doing our
Shrimp and Okra Gumbo.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh!
Love
It is
gumbo.
like it's an experience making gumbo.
It
I will
is.
just tell you that
It
much.
is.
And it's a hypnotic kind of thing. Some of the things that I'm going to ask you to do, like making the roux, and it's going to take a little bit of time. Why did I say hypnotic? Because it is kind of hypnotic. I know you're like,
it kind of
Cathartic.
Yes, exactly. Not
and it's hypnotic. Okay, so let's talk about it.
While
Let's
you're
get-
making it, I am.
You go into it.
hypnotized.
You hypnotize me. Okay, so I'm going to turn this heat on. So we've got this beautiful. It's a
at that.
concoction.
Yes.
Let me tell you what it is. So we start. If you've heard us talk about roux, we cook with good old roux all the
Yes,
time.
blonde roux usually.
There are different color roux. It all depends on how long you cook the roux for. Usually we're doing like a white roux or a blonde roux. It acts as a thickener, but in Cajun cooking, in gumbo, it's almost always a dark
roux.
So it takes some time to make a dark roux.
Little
So
elbow grease.
It does a little elbow, just patience.
Yes.
So
And don't hypnotize yourself.
don't get hit, because if you do, you could fall. So you're going to start with I start with my large cast iron skillet. I probably could have done it in this, but I just like using my big old
And it
cast
has
iron
a
skillet.
wider area.
Yeah,
too.
you need something that can stand the heat and is good and sturdy. And you also need you could do this, sit with a stool, because this takes about 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So what you're going
Kind
to
of
do,
squat.
yeah, you're going to start off with 3/4 cup of just vegetable oil. Put this over medium-high heat, and then you're going to add a cup of all-purpose flour. And then use a whisk. It's important that you use a whisk because you're going to have to continuously circulate this roux.
Yep.
You do not want it to burn, because if it burns, it becomes acrid and it ruins the entire roux, and roux has to go home and you have to
Yes.
start over again. So we don't want to do that. So
Yeah.
I'm going to turn this baby down. So okay, so now the awesome thing, you just sit there and it
Stir
is
it.
hypnotic. You just kind of watch it and it starts to change
Yeah.
color before your eyes. It goes
It gets like a little blonde, and then it gets a little caramelish.
Yeah.
And then it starts to get into that chocolatey look.
yeah, like a milk chocolate
Yes,
kind of look, and
yes.
it's a beautiful thing. I love it.
I love it too.
So anyway, so then it gets really, really exciting.
Stir that up.
Okay, so I'll just turn this off for now. So then what we're going to do is now we are going to have this burst of flavor. We are going to
Yes.
ignite the world.
I love these vegetables.
I know, and we've got a lot here. So now you're going to want to stand back. Now you're going to want to move from a whisk now to a wooden spoon, because it's also be really careful when you do this, because after 40 minutes of cooking, that roux gets really, really
So
hot.
hot.
And you want to kind of gradually turn the heat down as you're cooking the roux. You don't want to keep it blazing hot. So by the time you get to the point where you're putting in the vegetables, the heat is like medium low.
Oh, but it's still hot.
It's still going to be super
Yes.
duper hot. And so anyway, stand back, because the steam is going to release from these veggies. So we're going to put in, you'll get the measurements on the recipe when you look, because I won't go over all that. But we're going to put in some chopped onion, some chopped green bell pepper, some chopped celery, and some chopped poblano, and some minced garlic.
Yes.
Okay? So there's your veggies. Now we're going to spice things up. So we got a good old amount of spices here. So we're going to start off with some chili powder, and then we've got some smoked paprika, and then
some cayenne
pepper for a little heat.
Yes.
Not too much. And then we're going to put in some salt and pepper. So we've got salt, just good old table or kosher salt I like.
Yeah.
And then some black pepper and some white pepper. We're doing black and white. Yay.
yay.
And then we're going to use something that is very traditional in Cajun cooking, and especially in gumbos. It's called filet.
Filet.
And it comes from like the sassafras plant. They're like leaves that are ground.
It's that signature. that taste.
It is.
Yes.
It is. It's commonly used. Now, it's not real easy to find, just at every grocery store. A lot if you're in New Orleans, you can certainly find it.
Yeah.
I a lot of times, and sometimes I do see them in like specialty shops or like spice places, but it's really easy to order online, and I have a link for it.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you just
mix that up.
Mix that all up, and you get nice and thick, like what we've got right here.
And then we put it in this lovely pan.
We transferred it to a nice pot. Now you want
a giant pot. I love that pot.
Yeah.
It's so big.
It's
going to fill up.
It is going to fill up because we're going to fill it up right now. So let's do that. I'm going to do one of my favorite things, which is squeezing tomato.
I'm standing back.
I know. I'm going to get
on me
all over the kitchen. But the gumbos a lot of times don't have tomatoes in it. They do sometimes, but I think the tomato in this is going to match really nicely against the okra, and it's just
It is really good.
It is so great. Okay, and now my hands are a mess.
I've got it.
So go ahead and put in there. That's a 1/4 cup of Worcestershire sauce.
Worcestershire, yes. Here you go, Chris.
Thank you. Oh no, I got it.
You got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then we've got a 1/4 cup of hot sauce.
Hot sauce.
We like when you're down in New Orleans.
You got to have some crystals.
Crystals is super popular and for good reason. Okay, now that's starting.
That looks good right now.
I know, but just wait. Okay, so now we got to add.
Oh, look at our flowers. A little bit of Mardi Gras color here going on.
I tell you, we celebrate Mardi Gras no matter what.
Yeah.
Okay, year round. Okay, so now
Look at this giant.
The roux is super important, obviously, and doing it correctly. And then this is
fish stock.
It's actually shellfish stock, which is a little different than just fish stock. So we're going to go ahead and add that in.
You want to add it? Okay.
Yeah, let's go ahead and add that in. And as you're adding that in, I'm going to explain, hopefully, concisely how I made this. So you can do this days in advance. You can even do it a month in advance and freeze it. So what I did was get a nice large. You need a nice large stock pot, and you're going to add 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter and 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. And then what you're going to do, so you need to get the shells of shrimp. You could use the shells of lobster. You could use the shells of crab. Any kind of shellfish. When you're cooking with shrimp, just remember, don't throw away those shells. Put them in a little baggie and then save them.
Freeze them.
Because you do need a lot. And if you can find shrimp with the head still on, or like prawns, use that. Use that around, because there's so much flavor in there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna saute that until it gets nice and pink, and that's about 10 minutes. And then what we are going to do is we are going to add some vegetables. We're gonna add, let's see if I can remember this right. We're gonna add some chopped leeks.
Yes.
We've got some chopped celery, and we've got some chopped onion. Okay, and so we're gonna put that in there, and then you're gonna want to put in about a teaspoon of salt.
Yep.
Then we're gonna add some wine. We're gonna add 3 cups of just a good old, just like a crisp white wine. Put that in there, and then you're going to let that come to a boil, and it's going to cook out that alcohol, and let it boil for about 5 minutes. And then we add our water, and depending on how much stock you want to make, for this I'm doing 2.5 quarts, so you always want to have a little extra.
A little more, right.
So I put in 3 quarts of water. Then you want to bring that to a nice simmer, or actually bring it to a boil,
right.
And then turn down your heat. Put a lid on it, and then let it simmer for an hour. It's not like beef stock where it has to go for hours. And then you take the lid off. Oh, the smell is incredible.
It is.
You strain it. We just strained it into another pot, and then it's ready for use.
We did skim some of the. There's some. I think it's from the butter. Some oil from the butter.
There's a little bit of oil and maybe a little bit of
off the top.
Yeah, you can skim it off the top. If you don't do that, it's no big deal. But that's true. That we did do that. Okay, so now what we are going to
goodness.
And that roux just starts to thicken things up a little bit.
It's screaming for that shrimp and okra.
I know. So we'll put that in shortly. So what we're going to do is we really want these flavors just to start to get to know each other. So we're going to let this go. I'm going to get it until it's almost boiling, and then we're going to let it simmer for 30 minutes, and then we put the shrimp in.
Yay.
And then we come to the okra.
Yes.
And then we eat.
Yeah. That smells
like we're down on
down the bayou. That's all I got.
Bourbon Street.
That's all I got.
I know. That's all he ever knows of any song. It's like sort of the name of it. Okay, so now we've got 2 pounds of cleaned shrimp that we're just going to add into the party here. So this is, I should say, I brought this to a nice simmer, and it's just been simmering for about 30 minutes. And you see how gumbo is really the roux did thicken it somewhat, but you don't want it it's not like pot or beef stew, you know, that's really pretty thick. It's going to have some thinness to it, but yet enough thickness that it's.
Wait, you lost. There was one.
Oh, you just thought. Yeah.
Lonely shrimp.
The lonely shrimp. Okay, so now, wow, look at that. We've got this filled to the brim. But that's good. That's the way you want it. So now we're going to let this just continue to cook and do its thing. It's going to go for an hour.
Yeah.
And so we've got some okra over here. You can use frozen. Just you make sure you get sliced. That's no problem.
Yeah.
And but okra, as you know, kind of has that little bit of that slimy texture.
Yes.
So we got a technique that we're going to show to help reduce that.
Exactly.
And we'll show you that in just a moment. That's going to go in the final 15 minutes of cooking. So we're getting so close.
I can't wait.
Oh my gosh. You know what? I realized one of the things I love about gumbo so much, it reminds me of New Orleans.
Yes.
Because well, obviously because it's gumbo, but it's this like this melting pot of so many different cuisines and influences. And New Orleans is one of our favorite places in the world. The people are just incredible, and the food is out of this world.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
I'm always act like an adolescent though when I go to.
I know it's hard not to. It's like being in Vegas. But anyway, so. Let's tell them what we did. So we finished this off. This has been going for about an hour, and so I told you, you know, when you get that, when you open up a bag of okra and it's got that slime factor to it, or if you're cutting a fresh one.
Yes.
A way that you can kind of help lessen it is just put it in a skillet with put a tablespoons of vegetable oil in a large skillet over medium-high heat, and then you just cook it. You
cook the slime off.
It's not going to go away 100%. You're still going to see some, but it does kind of cook it down, and then. When there's about 15 minutes left of the hour of cooking, we just transferred that into here.
It in there.
And now another thing, so when the gumbo cooks, as it reaches that heat level, that oil that you use to create the roux is going to separate, and it kind of you have to almost turn to an angle to see
like little canals of it.
Or little pools of it. Yeah. And so I just get a little ladle and you want to get that as much of that out as possible because you don't want it to, then it tastes too oily, and also you want to taste this before you serve it, because a lot of times that roux has a very distinct taste, and this really needs more taste. You want to have that taste of that incredible shellfish stock than roux, okay?
Yes.
So this is ready to serve. So the Loon is showing us a little trick here.
Yes, so we made some rice.
So we have a recipe for perfect steamed rice on the blog.
So good.
And
what we're going to do is we're just going to plop it. I'm going to pat, my hands are clean. So I'm just going to plop it right down there.
There you go. Make a pretty present.
Hold on.
Okay.
That was pretty.
Well,
it's a little sticky today.
Yeah, it is. Well, you want a little sticky rice. Okay, now look at this. And then you just fill in the edge.
Fill in the moat.
Yeah, that's right. I wouldn't mind being stranded on that island of rice.
No, not at all.
This was my moat around me.
Oh, y'all. I used to work on a ship, a cruise ship that would dock in New Orleans every week. On Saturdays. Oh, wow, Chris, that is a little messy.
Sorry.
Every Saturday. Hold on, I'm going to clean this up a little bit before anybody sees it.
Every Saturday,
and I would call Chris from the payphone because it was before cell phones, and he would be like, "Where are you?" I'm like, "Well, it's a party all the time."
Yeah. Well,
it'd be 7 o'clock in the morning when I
thought I was going to say that. And the funny part of that story is it would be like early. I would be waking up. And it would sound like, wow, you are having quite the hootenanny there, aren't you? Right.
Okay.
Now we're going to do a little bit. Of course, you know I love to garnish. Now these are scallions. That is absolutely beautiful.
Yes. Look at that, y'all. Look at how cute that bowl is.
You know, it's got to have the cute factor.
Yes, and then I've got to add some of my hot sauce. I love me some crystals.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's New Orleans at its best. Oh my God, this is just heavenly. I was going to say earlier, it's as brown as the Mississippi River.
I think it's the Missouri River. Is it the Mississippi?
The Mississippi.
Oh, it is. Sorry.
Gosh, okay, just eat.
I know. My U.S. geography is horrifying. Okay.
You call you Dumbo eating the gumbo.
Wow, it's hot.
It's New Orleans. I'm speechless. I'm so excited. It's.
I'm sorry.
You taste I'm guessing you taste the depth of flavor. Yeah, and going that extra step in making the shellfish stock puts you miles ahead.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. You can use store-bought seafood broth stock, of course, but I would say if you're going to make gumbo's an event.
I went down south just now. That is so heartwarming and delicious. And it's freezing here in Texas right now, so this is just perfect. And it just brings in it makes me miss
Mardi Gras.
Oh, New Orleans, the whole thing. This is 100% Loon approved.
Yes.
Actually, it's 1,000. Let's throw 1,000 on.
Oh, God. I was going to say.
Chris, this is so good. The heat is just right.
Just perfect. And you're not a big fan. Well, let me.
Unbelievable, y'all. That shrimp is done perfect. Everything's so perfect. It all
so
comes together
flavorful.
so perfect.
It's so
roux.
good. Oh, I love roux. Oh my gosh, this is incredible. You guys, I feel like we're just sitting here eating in front of you. And it's not too fishy. I was going to say that. He's not a big fan of things that are like too fishy. And the shellfish stock has that wonderful, that flavor of shrimp. It's like eating shrimp broth.
So good, y'all. So good. You can get this recipe, actually a lot of Cajun recipes on howtofeedaloon.com.
That's right. And go to our social media, like us, share us, do all of that great stuff.
Yes.
If somebody walks by your front door naked, throw beads at them. in honor of Mardi Gras.
Yes. People walking their dogs were pelting beads at them.
It's Mardi Gras. All right, bye, everybody. We love you. Hey, everybody.
Hi, guys. Now, if you want to be a part of the Loon fun, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to hit that little bell icon so you won't miss a single recipe.
That's right. Oh, and speaking of recipes, if you want another amazing recipe like this, then just click right here.
Yeah, click.
Click.
Subscribe.
It's so much fun.